would like to really ask anybody in the class who can go to John 11 and read us those short 3 verses of the scripture, 4 verses of the scripture. John 11, 3, 6. If you have found it, please just go ahead and come in.
John chapter 11.
Yeah. Yes, Sylvanus, read us. Thank you.
John chapter 11, verse 3 to verse 6, the Bible says, So the sisters sent word to Jesus, Lord, the one you love is ill. When he heard this, Jesus said, This illness will not end in death. No, it is for God's glory so that God's Son may be glorified through it. Now Jesus loved Martha and her sister and Lazarus. So when he heard that Lazarus was ill, he stayed where he was 2 more days.
Yes. We live in I love the story of Lazarus and his relationship to Jesus. We live in a fast-paced society where many of our whims and desires can be gratified instantaneously. If you feel like having pizza or buying a house, if you can afford it, you can get it immediately. But it takes discipline to refrain from acting on impulses of the flesh and instead to wait for God's perfect timing. What I found myself in life is that when you're waiting for God's perfect timing, you never really, I don't think you're just sitting there and waiting, or sometimes you really don't, you don't internalize that you are waiting for God's perfect timing. You are actually agonizing and struggling. And I think without the help of the Holy Spirit, we can quickly become overeager and restless. So consider the patience and restraint it took for Jesus to use his power in accordance with his Father's will, especially while someone close to him suffered and died. So on learning that Lazarus was sick, the Lord delayed for 2 days instead of rushing to his beloved friend's bedside. The question is why? It's because Jesus knew that God's plan of redemption was far bigger than the mere prevention of death through physical healing. Sometimes these spiritual contexts become very difficult to internalize if you don't completely surrender occurrences in your life to God. So God's plan for Lazarus, for Jesus, and for all who call on his name is resurrection from death and to eternal life. So really, even if he didn't make it, a time of resurrection would come, as it were. So when we witness suffering and death in the world, it can be easy to lose heart. But Jesus' example is waiting on his Father's timing to resurrect Lazarus, invites us to patiently bear all things. I wish I could underline that. Patiently bear all things. And this is the dilemma of the human person. In other words, I'm saying when things don't happen when you would have liked them to happen or when you think they should happen, just know this is not within God's timing. And also know that there is a limit to getting things done in your time, in your way, etc. So we aren't alone in our waiting or weeping. Jesus wept too. And I think as people of hope, we know how the story ends. He will wipe every tear from our eyes and death will be no more. How I wish we could look at that final prize, that final destination, and that those who leave us too soon, for example, just remember that there is one, there's resurrection. Two, there is no too soon or too late. Our time scale has been determined. And walking away from death into our everyday life, I think we need to appreciate always what God has done in our lives, appreciate this far He has brought us. I'm sure each one of us know of a friend or a relative you are with in school, but is nowhere near where you are. But also you know of people you are with in school and they're too far away from where you are. You're looking at them from a distance. What I'm trying to say is that these goalposts, and these posts, not goalposts, these posts of your time scale have actually been planted by God, and that they are hidden from us. And so it is so important to fight anxiety, to fight our whims and desires. Very important for us to fight our whims and desires. And sometimes to know that this has happened because this was not on my time scale. And that maybe delayed gratification instead of instant gratification should be your default mode. It doesn't mean you don't aspire. It doesn't mean you don't work extra hard. All those things are in it, but they are within a context of a time scale that none of us knows. So many times we just have to wait for God's perfect timing. And I have known that without the help of the Holy Spirit, we can become overeager and restless. And walking or positioning yourself in the realm of the Holy Spirit takes prayer, takes the reading of Scripture on a daily basis to understand God's word better, takes discipling, and most of the time it takes a teachable spirit. Then when you are in that realm, you never see those obstacles. You are never overeager and restless. No, you know that our good Lord has a purpose. So even a simple story like Lazarus' story and the sisters running to Jesus and him taking his time Sometimes I think he was not taking his time. If he had gone earlier, maybe Lazarus coming back would not have been witnessed. If he had gone earlier than God's timing, which was supposed to demonstrate something in the lives of the people, and particularly the sisters of Lazarus. So let us know that Jesus is patient. God is patient. And may we aspire to have that patience. In what we do. I'm not talking of being slow, being late, running away from obligations. No, that's totally different. And may God enable us to always submit to his will and his timing. Let us pray. Heavenly Father, we come before you this evening, thanking you for the life that you freely have given us, and we pray you'll continue to give us as we serve your mission on this earth. Lord, we are praying for patience in all the activities that we do. And so we are inviting your Holy Spirit to be within us so that it may direct us to appreciate and overcome overeagerness and restlessness, knowing that our whims and desires could be out of tune with your perfect timing. I continue to pray for my students in Daystar, and particularly this class that we are working with, and the other Masters and PhD classes, undergraduate classes, diploma classes, and even certificate and short courses, that you will walk with them. And that when we eventually finish the journey and they're graduating, truly the glory and the ululations will not be for us, the graduates, but it will be for you. I pray this in Jesus' name. Amen. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, last time we had started on chapter 1 on thesis development. And I did send you some notes. I sent you some interesting notes. I don't know how many of you saw it. I don't know. I'm hoping Dr. Mwaka sent that, where I asked you something to do with how to choose your topic. Remember last time we looked at the introduction, we looked at the problem statement, but then my mind went back and I said, maybe I should have actually also included this aspect of how do you choose your topic. So Dr. Mark, are you online still?
Yes, Prof.
Yeah, did I send that to you? I hope I did.
Yes, I think it was part of the
Part of the
document you
notes.
sent. Yeah.
Yeah, part of the notes on on the background. So if you could check it out, whether you sent it.
Okay, I'm just checking it out.
Yeah. Or if my students can check.
But maybe
Choosing a topic.
I'll share what you shared.
There's a place choosing a topic. I want to cover that before I go to the purpose statement.
So this is what you shared last week, notes on writing. This is chapter 1, introduction. And under introduction, you had several attachments. There was this introduction to background notes, which I think, I'm not sure that they're the ones having the...
It has something. I think I pasted. Just go up.
It has choosing a topic at the bottom there.
Yeah. Did you send it to them?
Yeah, it's actually, I'm loading this from the online portal.
Yeah, so you see, I have always told you people, don't affirm what people say. If you want to hide money from our people, put it in a book. So I hid this one under choosing a topic. And I want us to discuss this a little before I talk about the purpose statement and the objectives, because I'm going through chapter 1. So can everybody go to their notes, go to your portal, open that up. And I think we had better share this thinking together. So let's go there. Huh?
Do I remove this?
Yeah, I hope that but you can leave it for some time. It's okay. I don't need it myself, but if they need it. Regina, this is a short paragraph. Can you read us that paragraph? Then I'll say what I want to say about choosing a topic. And remember, I told you this is going to be, a lot of this work will be on your part now. And I'm hoping today, the last 1 hour, we will be giving each one of you a chance to tell us about your topic and have the courage to say, this is the background. Yes. Regina? Are you there? Waita?
Yes, I'm there, but I'm checking it wrong. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay. Can somebody pick it up?
I'm trying to get home.
Excuse
All
me,
right.
Prof.
I can read.
Yeah, go ahead.
Excuse me.
Lawrence, go
Sorry.
ahead, Matthew.
All right. Choosing a topic. The word interest comes in mind when thinking about a topic you may want to do a study on. This word sometimes makes its presence known when having a conversation with colleagues and faculty members about what you plan to do in your dissertation. Therefore, one's level of interest in a topic could be the main determinant for the focus of a dissertation project. However, there are other factors that should be considered when deciding on a topic. But before we come to what, okay, I was reading on the screen. But before we come to what these contributing factors are, let's address the question, what is a topic? A topic is a core idea that has the potentiality to be studied. In other words, it is the main issue that a researcher wants to research. Topics differ based on the level of abstraction, connection to practical issues, and relatedness to a research area within your field.
Please pause, Macho. Everybody, can you highlight level of abstraction, connection to practical issues, and relatedness to a research area? Relatedness to a research area within your field. And this is how you'll begin to interrogate your topic. You'll be asking, what is the level of abstraction? And we'll explain that later on. What is the connection to practical issues like the dangers of smoking and the prevalence of cancer? Like the spread of malaria and communication as a weapon, like social entrepreneurship in the mitigation of the impact of HIV/AIDS, or action research application in the classroom to enhance the teaching of mathematics. Obviously, connection to practical issues is a must if your research is going to end up being research, apart from the consumerability of your findings. And then relatedness to a research area within your field. So if you are a history teacher or a teacher of English, you cannot do action research and you're talking about pedagogies that will enhance the instruction of mathematics. It must be in an area within your field. It helps. Carry on.
A topic with a high level of abstraction, meaning with no connection to practical issues and no relation to the
Carol,
area.
can you scroll that up, please? Scroll for those who have not yet gotten the topic.
All right. A topic with a high level of abstraction, with no connection to practical issues and no relation to the area of research in your field, becomes challenging to explore. Let's say you want to study artificial intelligence capabilities in the field of education. This topic could be seen as too high in the level of abstraction, since it doesn't represent a specific issue in education. With this topic, your supervisor may say that it is too broad and ask you about how it is connected to issues in education or educational practices. Thinking about what area, situation, and or even event this proposed topic is related to would help in reducing the level of abstraction. For instance, you could revise it to the role of machine learning on students' learning. As you can see, the artificial intelligence has been replaced by its sub-area, which is machine learning, and role has been further added to reduce the abstraction level. In addition, including the phrase students learning helped to relate the topic to an area in the education field. We want to emphasize that coming up with a topic is not always linear as discussed above. It may emerge when making a course, talking to someone, reading an article, doing a course assignment, or reflecting on a problem you have encountered. The most important thing is to make sure it meets the criteria of a good topic, which are as follows. It should be less abstract in nature. It should have a connection with practical issues in a field, and it should be related to the research within a field. See Table 1.1. In addition, you may address the following questions. How important is the topic to you? How important is the topic to your field of study? How important is the topic to your future endeavors? Responding to these questions will help you to make informed decisions about what to discuss on. USIM 1997.
I'm very
Is
sorry.
Prof
I think it's me who had gone off.
Okay.
Macho, I want you to go back where you stopped.
Okay, start with the last paragraph, right?
No, abstraction. I lost you when you were level of
A
abstraction.
topic with a high level of, okay.
Yeah.
I'll start
Scroll.
there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. A topic with a high level of abstraction with no connection to practical issues and no relation to the area of research in your field becomes challenging to explore. Let's say you want to study artificial intelligence capabilities in the field of education. This topic could be seen as too high in the level of abstraction, since it doesn't represent a specific issue in education. With this topic, your supervisor may say that it is too broad and ask you about how it is connected to issues in education or educational practices. Thinking about what area, situation, and/or event this proposed topic is related to would help in reducing the level of abstraction. For instance, you could revise it to the role of machine learning on students' learning. As you can see, the artificial intelligence has been replaced by its sub-area, which is machine learning, and role has been further added to reduce the abstraction level. In addition, including the phrase students learning helped to relate the topic to an area in the education field. We want to emphasize, okay. Do I continue?
Yeah, go ahead.
We want to
Yes, go ahead,
emphasize that coming up with a topic is not always linear as discussed above. It may emerge when taking a course, talking to someone, reading an article, doing a course assignment, or reflecting on a problem you have encountered. The most important thing is to make sure it meets the criteria of a good topic, which are as follows. It should be less abstract in nature. It should have a connection with practical issues in a field, and it should be related to the research within a field. See Table 1.1. In addition, you may address the following questions. How important is the topic to you? How important is the
I'll give you the
topic to
table
your
later.
field
Go on,
of
yeah.
study? Did you say something, Prof?
No, just go on. I'm listening.
Okay. How important is the topic to your field of study? How important is the topic to your future endeavors? Responding to these questions will help you to make informed decisions about what to focus on. USIM 1997.
Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, I cannot overemphasize the ability to be able to pick a topic. So I would like you to scribble some notes as I talk about what Matthew has just read. When we talk about level of abstraction, what is the meaning? What is the meaning? What do I mean by that? This is how distant a topic is from an actual or specific happening, situation, behavior, etc. I want to repeat, level of abstraction is about how distant a topic is from actual and specific happening, situation, behavior, etc. So like in the case of artificial intelligence, capabilities, it is too broad. It is too distant. So you have to tell us the dangers of artificial intelligence in the quality of thesis writing in developing countries. So you don't just say artificial intelligence in higher education. No. So when I'm when I'm helping you develop your topic, you'll hear me say level of abstraction of your topic is, when I'm rating, is, when you see me say very high, it is not a good thing for you. High, moderate, low, or very low. And get me clear, you can be as abstract as you want. But the problem is that you'll be too broad, that study will overflow into the Indian Ocean. And many of you can't swim. Connection to practical issues. I hope I'm with everybody, not leaving anybody behind. Connection to practical issues. This is so important. If you're going to write a thesis that will be cited extensively, if you're going to write a thesis that can win funding, then there must be a connection to practical issues. Bear that in mind. I'll also be asking you when I'm helping you craft your topic, how practical. So what do I mean? How close the topic is to what is happening in our day-to-day lives. You are doing two things. You are adding knowledge, which is a fundamental purpose of research, but then you are allowing for application of research to provide solutions. So I don't, those of you in education, I don't mean you talking about the implementation of CBC challenges. No, that is too abstraction, too broad. What is it? Is it the funding mechanism? Is it the economics of CBC? Is it the human resource factor? Is it the infrastructure and materials? Is it the preparedness? Is it parental engagement? Is it the load of the curriculum? Or is it the location of the CBC in primary or secondary? So again, how connected is the topic to practical issues? And this is now the reverse of abstraction. So very highly, moderately, loosely, very loosely. So here I'll be looking for a topic that is very highly connected to practical issues. And I hope I'm with everybody. I hope we've not left anybody behind. Choosing your topic. You see, these are aspects when I come for defense, when I'm brought a thesis to mark, these are the things I look for. The third aspect is relatedness to research area within your field. Relatedness to the research area within your field. And what is the meaning of this? How much connection the topic shares with a research area in the field of your study. So how much connection the topic shares with a research area in the field of your study. In other words, even if you're a genius, please do research in your area of study. At least you have the language register there, you have the concepts. You're not going to learn new things as you do the research. So what I'll be asking is, how related is your topic to a research area within your field? Yes. How is it related? Again, the aspects I'll be looking at is very highly, moderately, loosely, very loosely. The other aspect I want us to consider when we are doing crafting our topic is the degree of interest in the topic, your degree of interest in that topic. What is your degree of interest in that topic? What is your degree of interest in that topic? And some of these things look very obvious. So what I'm asking is, how much delight, and write these words, how much delight and curiosity you have towards the topic. So how much delight and curiosity you have towards the topic? I can add how much pain are you carrying about, for example, the inaction in that area? In other words, how interested would you be in the topic? How interested? How interested would you be in the topic? Question mark. So it is very interested, somewhat, unsure, not very, not at all. Obviously, we expect you to be very interested in the topic. The other aspects in choosing your topic, is the degree of relevance to your experience. The degree of relevance to your experience. The degree of relevance to your experience. So how important the topic is to you. Comma, considering your important the topic is to your field of study. Sorry. We're talking about this to you, considering what you have experienced. In other words, how relevant is the topic to you, considering what you have experienced? So the answers you should ask in your mind, the alternative is very relevant, very irrelevant. So I'm giving you tips on how you can interrogate your topic until it begins to stand. The second last consideration is the degree of relevance to your field of study. How is it relevant to your field of study? Degree of relevance to your field of study. How important the topic is to your field of study. How is it important to your field of study? So if you are an educator, topics related to leadership of institutions, topics related to the economics of education, topics related to policy formulation and implementation, policy related to pedagogy and instruction, topics related to evaluation, validity, and reliability, topics related to the wellness of a school, are important to your field of study. So again, we shall be asking how relevant is the topic to your field of study.
Excuse me, Prof, please.
Excuse me, Prof.
Very relevant. Yes.
Sorry. Yeah, maybe those topics that you've mentioned for like the ones for education.
Education.
Yeah, please repeat.
Mm.
Mm.
Okay. If you are in the field of education, you'll be interested in topics like the economics of education, the modalities of funding education, you'll be interested in the capacity building, not just teachers, but of the human resource in education. You'll be interested in infrastructure and instructional materials. You'll be interested in pedagogy, that is application of pedagogy. You'll be in and that is called instructional leadership. You'll be interested in evaluation, validity, and reliability of examinations. You'll be interested in the wellness of a school. The struggle we are having now in DESTA, we are trying to enhance wellness. And some people don't just get it. They call it indoctrination. You'll be interested in policy formulation and implementation. In fact, I'm expecting some of you to be bold and connect learning outcomes or quality of education and policy formulation and implementation. You'll be interested in that legal frameworks that enhance the quality of education provision. You'll be interested in education for the underprivileged. You'll be interested in special education programs in the context of CBC, dilemmas and opportunities, for example, etc. So we can go on and on and on.
Excuse me, Prof.
Yes.
Maybe for the benefit of those of us who are not in education sector, and speaking for myself, specifically investigation and security, maybe if you could also be giving examples from that side so that I'm able to take the message home clearly. Thank you.
Yeah. You would be looking at challenges in security provision. And here, I don't just talk challenges, it will be too abstract. You'll be talking about, for example, the adequacy of security provision. You'll be talking about community policing. Is it a myth or is it a reality? You'll be talking about the demographics of the police, of the forces, or the police force, or any of the forces, the demographics in terms of education and age as it relates to effectiveness. You'll be talking about our current state vis-a-vis modernization of the police forces or the armed forces. You'll be talking about the movement from force, from brown to brain in matters security. You'll be talking about terrorism, counter-terrorism initiatives, and so on and so forth. I can pick any area and generate something. Oluoch Madiang. And
Professor
remember,
Ayiro, thank you.
yes,
Thank you very much. Good evening. And I really appreciate your enunciation of the areas of
good evening to
potential.
you.
Oh, am I audible? The areas
You are
of
quite
interest.
distant. It's like you're in my...
Oh, I'm sorry for that. I don't know whether it's improved now.
Yeah, it has improved. Okay, go ahead.
My apologies. So thank you very much for the enunciation of areas of interest, as you've put them in education and also in response to the next speaker on security. But I have two questions. One, if you say these are the areas of interest, it nearly logically also suggests,
Go ahead.
It suggests that there may be areas that may not be of interest.
I'm losing you.
Oh, okay, Prof. I think I have a bad network.
No,
I will pass.
I think it's Prof's net. It's very
Prof
clear.
network because it's lagging a bit.
Yeah, it's lagging. Yours is lagging, so we are ahead of you.
Okay. Okay.
It is mine, huh?
Yeah.
Okay. Could I pass so that we let the Prof continue? I will get an opportunity to ask later.
Okay.
Yep.
Prof, you can continue.
Hope my network
Prof,
is not that bad.
All right.
Are you able to hear me, Carol?
Yes, we can hear you, but we can. You're lagging, so but we can. Now you're okay. Can you want to continue?
Okay. Othello, go ahead.
Yes, Prof. Good evening.
Good evening.
I think the clarity is continuing to increase in magnitude in the way you are presenting this, choosing a topic now. Even some of what we have, the ideas that some of us have, it's now being told to shreds. We have to start from beginning. So is it possible that you can make a suggestion of 2 or 3 topics in case the one that you are choosing probably is more abstract than the others? Is it possible to bring to the table?
Yeah, today I'm ready. Yeah, that's possible. And we are saying this. I hope Dr. Mwaka and their team are already lining up supervisors in the various areas. And those are the things you present to your supervisor to engage with, to refine. I'm just giving, I'm giving you the architecture of chapter 1. I don't want you to get into chapter 1 and you're asking, what is the background of the study? What is a problem statement? How is a topic chosen? Is my topic appropriate? I don't want you to start asking, but what is a purpose statement? And objectives and research questions and hypotheses. I don't want you to start asking what is a conceptual framework and what is the difference between a conceptual and theoretical framework. And assumptions. We're going to talk about assumptions in detail. We are going to talk about limitations and delimitations in that chapter 1. So I just want to make sure that we have all the constructs, all the sub-areas in chapter 1, and we can, once we craft a topic, we can easily slot in all those aspects. That's what I would like to see. All right, allow me to continue. Caro, am I a little clearer? I hope I'm not frustrating.
Yeah, okay.
Okay. The degree of relevance to your future endeavors. the degree of relevance to your future endeavors. So I know some of you are desperately trying to anchor your studies in COVID, but COVID, God forbid, we have said it is gone. So it might not have relevance to your future endeavors unless you're doing a historical study. What do I mean? How important the topic is to your career ambitions and future research focus. How important the topic is to your future career ambitions and future research focus. So I'll be asking, how relevant is the topic to your future endeavors? Very relevant, relevant, unsure, irrelevant, or very irrelevant. Waswahili wanasema hapa unahitaji kuwa na ujasiri wa kutosha. Hapa panatakikana uwe mwerevu, na hapa inatakikana ukae chini uombe Mwenyezi Mungu akupe neema na ile hali ya kujua mwelekeo wako kwa maisha utakuwa upi. So let me give you my example. After doing education, it came to my realization when I went into administration that you cannot be an outstanding educator if you don't have a business mind. Ndiposa nikaamua ya kwamba nitachukua mwelekeo wa masomo kwa upande wa biashara, business. Because a good educator must be an entrepreneur. A good manager, a good leader must rationalize. Apart from managing people, but managing resources prudently. That's the time, by the way, I don't know whether you know the story of Mugenda. We are very close friends. That's why in that book, she wrote the foreword for me. You know, Mugenda, when she had her PhD, she did home science. And then that was her area, home science. And then when she went into administration, she actually went to Isami to do an MBA in business management. Just look at what that MBA did in her trajectory in life. Turned Kenyatta University from a college, though it was a university, but it had been basically a college with those military structures, into what it is today. And now the KU Teaching and Referral Hospital. I'm just giving you an example. So I then did 2 degrees in business, a master's and a PhD in business management. Of course, I have a master's in education, the economics of education. And then I realized, but the world is a globe. The world is a globe. So how do I become relevant? I then did another master's in international relations. That was particularly when I was in Jogo House in charge of policy and planning, and we were meeting donors and looking for funds with the late Professor Saitoti for the free primary education. The degree of relevance to your future endeavors. Otherwise, if you don't give it serious reflection, itakuwa tu ni hivyo. Itakuwa tu ni hivyo. So,
Question, Prof.
Yes.
Allow me to ask this question just to take away my fears then. From your testimony, then does this mean that you didn't have something in mind that you would then go into teaching profession and specifically in campus? Two, somebody with a trajectory mind of going into teaching faculty then, I don't know if it has been a myth or it is something that maybe I will need an advice. For example, that you need to stick with one line for you to be a productive academician. Please advise. Thank you.
Yeah, and it is true. Your master's, your PhD, yes. But what I'm asking you is there business in education? That's what I'm asking. Is there business in medicine? Is there business in law? Our highly rated heart specialist, Gikonyo. If Gikonyo did not have a business mind, there would be no Karen hospital. He would still be a surgeon going to the theater. But he has a business enterprise. And the skills of the 21st century then will require diversity, but with a concentration. You must have a concentration. What you should ask yourself, what do I need to teach at the university? What do I want to teach at the university? What do I need to teach at the... Please mute.
Okay?
Please mute your...
They are kind, fair, and afraid to speak up. They speak up. They don't worry about pleasing other people. Okay?
Please mute. We're having two classes in one.
So, I am trying to stir up your mind. Here, we have not even gone to the degree. We are actually on the research area. And it is that research area that you'll carry forward. So, my PhD was on mitigating the impact of HIV/AIDS by application of social entrepreneurship. That is entrepreneurship that is non-profit. How does that become practical at that time? Very practical. That's why when I was in the ministry, because of that, the whole area of mitigation of HIV/AIDS in the whole education sector was in my directorate. So I got training from Washington at the World Bank, South Africa, so many places, building my capacity in the area of HIV and AIDS. But the whole idea was mitigating the impact in the education sector from an entrepreneurial perspective. So you must fascinate people. You must interest people. Then you'll get those fundable proposals I keep talking to you about. So don't walk in this like you're going to Sunday service. No. And quite frankly, I don't know what I'm saying. Frank Ochana. Frank?
Good evening, Professor.
Good evening.
I have a question.
Go ahead.
And I'm going to use an example. For example, right now we are doing a Masters in Education, Leadership and Policy Studies.
Yeah.
Then you have a topic, you may have a topic like this one. Let me also give an example on that topic. Maybe it may not be a correct topic. Quality education and academic performance among pastoral communities. So when you see this topic, there is no relationship between maybe leadership and matters with policy studies. So I wanted you to elaborate there. How are we going to read?
Come again, read me the topic.
Quality education and academic performance among pastoral communities. So I was asking that when you check on the topic, maybe there is no relationship between maybe matters of leadership and policy studies. So I wanted to know maybe the degree of relationship with the course on how we are going to pick the topic, or is it possible that you can work on a topic that is just separate from the course degree?
Yeah, you're talking of quality education. Quality education, the imperatives of leadership, the imperatives of the correct policies, particularly for the marginalized people. They are all embedded there. Or I don't get you. I mean, that is still very relevant. Extremely relevant. You should look at the study I did a World Bank study on attainment of educational indices in arid and semi-arid areas in Kenya. Yeah, that's relevant. So let's not be dogmatic. Let's not, in fact, I would like you as my student to convince me that, Ayiro, if you're not seeing leadership and policy here, then you have not understood my topic. Yeah. So, Ochana, that topic, you and your supervisor will refine it. But it is falling in that realm if you are in the education sector. Yeah. All right. This screen is a distractor. I don't know who's posting it. Today wapishi ni wengi hapa. Othello, is your hand still up? No, we have answered you, isn't it?
Prof, I wanted to say something briefly in relation to
go ahead.
What you mentioned about your study. That is quite interesting when you are talking about you studying that is the HIV issue you're talking about. Imagine I did, there were two people given assigned to find out, to investigate the origins of HIV. And so that we were at the standard at the time when I was doing investigative journalism. So we were asked to do this investigation. And we came across very, very scary documents. The colleague that were assigned together, we withdrew from the study. Imagine. I did this alone, and I published the story in a standard. So that story, I was summoned to the US Embassy when we did that story, because US was also part of the story that we did. So it's a lot of things involved. So when you thought about that, your study that you did on HIV, its effect on people in Kenya, I just became interested. I wanted to mention that.
Okay. Yeah, and I've just told you, we have just gone through the parameters you're going to use to interrogate your topic. And please take it seriously. Right from level of abstraction, connection to practical issues, relatedness to research area within your field, degree of interest in the topic, degree of relevance to your experience, a degree of relevance to your field of study, and degree of relevance to your future endeavors. And I wanted this to be part of our learning process. And I want us to go back to what we were doing last time. We had just finished how you're going to craft your problem statement. And it's so important that you are able to craft for us a very strong problem statement. But today, I wanted, before I go to the purpose, I wanted to open the discussion and hear from you some of the topics that, some of the thinking that is going through the minds of some of you. And if you have a topic, forward it to Carol if she's still online, and she will project it, and we would like just to look at the topic as I make some comments and then the background to the problem. But before that, my class, those ones who are in my class, this class, not the visiting students, but the people who have been in the class, I want to repeat what we had done before. And remind you, this is now coming to use right now. And I hope some of you will remember this. Sorry, some of you will remember the 7 gaps, the 7 types of research gaps that you'll be expected to exploit. And I gave you, we went through these notes. But I just want you to look at this and ask yourself, in the topic that I've chosen, what type of gap am I chasing? What type of gap am I chasing? And before that, ladies and gentlemen, somebody has thrown a very interesting comment. And I like such comments. Somebody has said, I think it's Helen, says, this research is making us to overthink. Precisely. Precisely. That is how you become a master's degree holder or a PhD holder. By wrestling with all these things, by wrestling with your topic, by wrestling with your problem statement, your background of the study, by wrestling with your purpose statement, your assumptions, the rationale, limitations, delimitations. By the time you finish this contest, mental contest, you'll never be the same again. That's the whole intention. And that's why we need to be very, very, very grounded. If we are going to be the type of students we want to come out of this program. Now look at this. So I would just like you to reflect on this. What will be your gap? What is the gap you're looking for? Are you looking for an empirical gap? That means in an area, you are adding knowledge to research in that area that was not provided under certain defined circumstances? Is your study around the population gap? Is your study around practical knowledge gap application? Is it an evidence gap? There is no evidence you're providing? Is it a theoretical gap? Are you coming up with a theory? Or is it just a knowledge gap you're adding to the knowledge? Or is it a methodology gap? Please remember the smoking cessation example of the problem statement. That study was trying to work on a methodology gap. Remember, he said most of the studies have been quantitative and targeting adults. But in this study, he wanted students to be co-researchers, and he was going to use qualitative to deepen the understanding around smoking misconceptions and conceptions around cessation of smoking. So now you have to bring this back to the fore. You have to bring it back to yourself and ask, where am I sitting? Where will I sit? So I'll be interested as we open now to go to discussion. I'll be interested some of you to tell me, I think my gap will be this, and I want to hear why you think your gap would be any of these 7. And we did. You have these notes, so it's not something we are meeting for the first time. Obadiah, go ahead.
Good evening, Prof.
Good evening.
Yeah, how delighted I am this evening as we tackle this topic subject that I've been really anticipating. I made some reading, literature review, a couple studies that have been performed before around the topic that I'm tackling. I'm hoping that Dr. Ayiro will project it very soon.
Okay.
And in my realization, I've realized that some of these, the topic indeed that I'm looking at has been, in one way or another, has been done by many researchers, and it came just to my realization that I have to find like the research gap so that I may be able to conceptualize tailor-made the work that I'm doing. And when I was looking around, when I was looking in the literature, I found that the study was not done majorly in one of it's been I identified the geographical gap. Now that's where I'm coming, because you have reminded us about the gap. So now, what would be some of the limitations that I might face in such an event where I have a geographical aspect as my gap.
No problem. We can replicate studies based on demographics and site location is one of them. So that's not a problem. But we'll want to look at the topic and then we shall interrogate it further. You know, I can see a study that was done in Mexico on policy formulation in the health sector that seems to interest me, and I'm curious. I can replicate that study in our Kenyan situation and collect data and see how it relates. So that's acceptable. Caro, how are we going to do this? Because remember, we are trying to construct chapter 1. I'll be coming in and out in strengthening areas. But this is disciplined inquiry. So we want to have the students begin to have the courage to throw topics at us, and we help them develop them. Yeah.
Prof, you want me to make a comment?
Yeah. No, I'm saying, do we have any topics? Do you have any concept papers that are with you?
No, individually, they've been sending on my WhatsApp, but I wouldn't have promised to do anything at that point of time because it has been quite tight. I think we will just set up, once we agree and have meetings with the supervisors, then we can agree way forward, because now they have these materials as today, and including the PhD students on their side who are here. They have these materials on the side, and then we can be able to have them start now constructing their topics, because I think of today, even if I was a student, whether a master's or PhD, to be honest, I should be able to construct a topic by the end of the day.
Okay. So, Chris Wekesa, what are you saying?
Prof, thank you. Prof, I think the reason why we had delayed in coming out with the concept paper is because the last time you asked us that when we come, we need to have identified our area of focus. And therefore, maybe personally, I had already identified my area of focus based on what we are learning, but not specifically the topic, even though I've tried to come up with two topics. So,
yeah, no, and don't, I don't know how to put it. I just want to know, where is your interest? And have you been corrected to think of a topic? Can we flag it so that I can use it to ask a few questions? And as I ask those questions, the rest of the class is picking one or two things.
Maybe I can give it a try.
Yeah, give it for it to be flagged. Juliet Otieno, go ahead.
Thank you, Prof.
And then Cindy Emma. Yeah.
Okay, I just want your guidance on this area. I was getting interested. I was trying to look at some of, for instance, you come to a school setup and you realize there are so many evaluation in terms of exams that are being given, and they don't even achieve much. It's like there is nothing it is doing. So it's about quantity and not about the quality that it is performing. And also, I was looking at something you have been mentioning, especially when you're talking about leadership. You see those that are in position or in leadership in a school, they don't really participate in the other things the teachers are doing. For instance, you realize exams are being done. They don't even mark their own papers. Maybe they give them to other people. And they're the same people who come and squeeze a deadline for you people to do this. And for them, they are not even participating in that, not knowing the struggles you go through. And it is put there and a lot of pressure. They want you to achieve that. And invigilation and so on, and putting so many measures. So I was looking at this and I really got interested because it's something I've seen in a number of schools that I have worked in. So if this is the problem that I have, Prof, now maybe I just needed guidance. Can it be a research that a topic that I can do, and how can I frame it? Because I was struggling. Maybe can it be a topic to be done, and it will fall where, and how can I frame it? Thank you.
Okay. That's in the area of instructional leadership. Instructional leadership. And in that area, you are looking at modalities of performance improvement adapted in some schools. And then we'll collect data. So it's around instructional leadership. I would put something like, just a guess, instructional leadership, and I put a full column and say modalities adopted for performance improvement. And now we look at that, like, give 10 maths exams or English exams and mark them and revise them and do that. What would your study reveal? Do the results improve? And where they improve, what is the difference? If they're not improving, what are the inherent weaknesses and what strategies can be engaged in to attain the aim that they're looking for? So yeah, that area is researchable. It's a hidden area, but I also know that where there is authenticity in that effort, results just accelerate. Excellence. But you have already mentioned one of the things that will stifle that is when we turn it into routine. Once you turn performance into routine, and then you have lost it. Cindy and then Zipporah. I'm happy questions are coming up because I'm not lecturing. I'm just setting parameters for us to do our chapter 1. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you, Daktari. I'm confused between two areas of interest because I have two major areas that I'm interested in. I'm struggling to choose to settle
Who is
one.
that? Is that Zipporah or
Cindy.
Cindy? Okay, Cindy, go ahead.
Yeah, so I'm struggling to settle on one. One area is the issue of social media, the influence of social media on academic performance on the high school learners. And the other area is enhancing education opportunities for underprivileged communities in Kenya, looking at the challenges, strategies, and impact assessment.
You see, just what you have said. In my mind, I said, my God, there is a problem. The level of abstraction. The last topic you have just given me. But I am happy that you are bringing it out. As an area, and now it is up to us to make it less abstract. In other words, to narrow it down into specific variables that we want to chase in this study.
Prof, what I'm saying is that I'm not saying that is the structure of my topic. I'm trying to bring out to
areas.
tell you my areas, 2 areas of concern in my case. So I'm struggling to choose one where now I can choose a topic. I can narrow down to, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just ask yourself, have you heard of this instrument called a passionometer? Have you seen that gadget? What do you think it does? What does it do?
Measures passion.
Yeah,
The level of passion.
Yeah, so go and look for one.
Professor kunayo kweli.
Yeah. In other words, I'm asking, where is your passion?
Interest and passion.
Where
You
is your
know,
interest?
Prof, my interest, I'm in the field of education
Mm.
and I'm interested in academics.
Mm.
So I am looking at the issue of social media and its influence on education disturbs me as a teacher. And also I'm disturbed by the disparities when it comes to the education policies and how education is enhanced in Kenya, looking at the underprivileged communities and how the structure, the infrastructure, and the differences between the education level and how education is
I'm listening.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, so I'm looking at the underprivileged communities in Kenya and the differences, the disparities when it comes to infrastructure in some schools in Kenya compared to the infrastructure in, let's say, the schools which are in towns like in Nairobi and other areas. And looking at that differences and wanting how are the policies formulated which govern the administration of education in the country.
Yeah, another interesting area, and there's so much literature around there. We have existing theories, very many theories. Yeah, that's researchable. But now the choice will be between you and your supervisor after you have convinced me with your concept paper. I'll say, I think we'll go in this way. But both those areas are interesting, very interesting. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Carol, are you there? I don't think, is she there? I wanted us to project. I think somebody has a topic and wanted us to look at. But I wanted to share something. Let me stop sharing this. I wanted to share something with you. Just give me a minute, just 1 minute.
Sorry, Prof.
Yeah, Caro, let me send you this article. I just want to use this article to start us off. I'm trying to what Cindy has just raised, and I'm very happy we're getting a lot of responses across the class. Just give me a minute. Dr. Mwaka?
Yes, Prof.
Can you handle these hands, type out what they are saying? Start with Zibora, then Taslin. I'm just finishing an article I want to project for class discussion. Just 1 minute. Go ahead and engage the class. Yeah.
All right. All right, Taslin, did you have a question? Am I supposed to type something?
Yes, I do have a question. I hope I'm audible.
Let me just open the Word document, whatever you guys want. The battery is running low. I don't want to. Just a minute. Just a minute, I press the power button on.
It's okay.
Okay, Taslin, I was just getting my power cable on. Yes, your question?
Yes, so for me, I want to do something around comprehensive sexual education in schools, and my area will be in Homa Bay. I just want to see if comprehensive sexual education can be one way of mitigating HIV prevalence and teenage pregnancies in Homa Bay County. So I really don't know which gap I'll be filling yet. I really don't know if I think I'll be adding knowledge, and I don't know how to put the topic in a way that it makes sense to me and also sense to those in the county. So yes, that's it.
Yes, another person?
Yes, Dr. Yes, this is Chris. I would like to focus on leadership and
That is Wekesa.
yes.
Yes.
I would like to focus on leadership, and I'm thinking about two areas. One, on the leadership styles among the authority in security and how they impact on service delivery.
Among authority in security.
Florence nimeinua mkono. Yeah, leadership styles among the authority in security sector and how they impact on service delivery. I'll be seeking to handle the knowledge gap. And area number 2 that I think I can look at is the community policing, or rather the reality of community policing among security agencies, also the knowledge gap. So maybe I would want more advice on the 2.
So you want to know how to identify knowledge gap?
No, I would be seeking, the focus is about the knowledge gap, because listening to what Prof said is among the gaps, what are you seeking to? I want to add knowledge, especially in community policing. I want to add knowledge. So basically, it's a knowledge gap. And then the third one, which I was sharing with someone today, and she advised me that it may not be within my area, was about the it was about job dissatisfaction among the police officers and the impact and the impact to the police. That one I honestly
Job
don't know.
dissatisfaction.
Yes.
Among?
Police officers. Job satisfaction and stress among police officers. Actually, that is the third one. The second one was about community policing, the reality of community policing. Yeah. So on the job satisfaction, I don't know the knowledge, the gap, but I'll be seeking to know the gap in time as time goes by. Thank you.
Another one?
Dr. could I go?
Mm.
This is Nyabere.
Mm.
I think I've made up my mind on what I want to look at. I too have an interest in organizational leadership. And there is actually something that has been troubling me in my experience working. And this has to do with succession planning. How leaders, plan for transition. And I want my topic to read leadership succession planning. And I would like to examine how organizations approach succession planning.
To read?
Leadership succession planning.
Okay.
Yeah, in practical terms, every time you see situations where you have a leader who, takes control of an institution and they don't care about how the institution should outlive them. And many times you find when such a leader leaves the institution out of natural attrition or, out of their own will, the institutions struggle to find their feet because there was no thought, there was no plan on how such leaders were to be succeeded. And I know that it's possible there are research, or there have been research in this area, but I also think there are discrepancies between the research and the actual, happenings on the ground. So my interest is to find out whether this is an area worth research.
All right, someone else? PhD students, do you have a topic you want me to include you on this list?
Good evening, Prof. Doc.
Yeah, go ahead.
Zipporah, I'm interested on parental involvement on the learner's academics. So my concern majorly is on policy. So I don't know how I can put it right on the topic.
Parental involvement?
On the learners, on their children's performance, academic performance. In Uasin Gishu County.
How do you write Uasin Gishu?
Prof, Uasin Gishu.
UA.
You want to examine parental involvement?
Yes. Because as a teacher, I've been having a challenge, especially on the students when it comes to performance. But if you involve their parents, they are not ready to help.
So none of you want to examine policy, none of you examine what? So all of you want just to be, you have to think through that. Leadership, I've seen one area of leadership, I've seen education.
Doc, I was asking if I am interested in policy, so I don't know how I can put that so that I can come up with a policy.
Actually, I've had my hand up, so
just say because sometimes I'm writing and then I not be able to see the other box.
Okay, I have two areas. The first area is
that Wakili, Boaz.
Yeah, this is Boaz. This is Boaz. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I've not been precise on what the topic would be, but in the area where the role of the Teacher Service Commission has been thrust to the limelight over the last almost 3 years, where TSC plays the role of the employer and also the regulator at the same time for teachers. And why that concerns me, it's because an employer reserves certain duties and rights and responsibilities on managing how then the employee works. But a regulator, just like we have professional bodies that help to regulate the profession, enables the profession to grow and develop them in that kind of a manner. But you find the TSC playing all these roles to the extent that a teacher in problems with the TSC would still find the same TSC sitting as a judge in the case of this teacher. And this is what I'm really looking at, in how can a solution, or can it be addressed in a manner that would create harmony and at least separation of these very critical two functions, because I think I'm linking it also to what we also did in law, because you say, you can't be a judge in your own case. And impartiality in the course of administering justice to those who may be on the wrong. So this is an area that I think there's a lot of mix-up and maybe a research that would be very helpful in streamlining how those operations should be undertaken. The second area is, for me,
Wakili, I would like to know now. I can't write everything, but I just want to know, should I leave it at that point, the role of TSC?
Yes, the role of TSC as the employer and regulator at the same time. How that I would be able to plow through, I think that is for what literature would help me bring out. So the next, the second one, the second area.
Maybe without explaining, in the interest of time, you can just give me a hint, because then if you explain to it might take a lot of time.
It's the school management and the parental participation. This is because of the hue and cry we are seeing. Their parental involvement, and yet their involvement is not significant. I think the school management is almost detached from the parents. So
okay, let's
how
have someone else without explaining, because we haven't reached at that point. And Othello, just don't explain anything, because if you explain, then it will be difficult even for me to write. You will explain when that time comes.
I want to look at policy issues. I want to study the Auditor General's reports, and I'm looking at the relationship between...
I can barely hear you.
Oh, I'm looking at the relationship between budget deficits. Between budget deficits.
Budget.
Yes. Budget deficits.
Emphasis.
Budget deficits. Deficit. DEFICITS.
Demand deficit.
Budget deficit.
Budget deficits, spiraling debts, and yes, spiraling debts. SPIRA.
Spiraling.
Yes, spiraling debts. And
okay, STI.
No, I'm saying SPP for Paul.
SPIRA. Spiraling.
Spiraling.
Okay,
Spiraling.
okay. Carol, can I suggest?
That.
Hello?
Yes, Prof.
Yeah, I'm back. I want to suggest that all people give their topics to you, your directorate, and you forward the topics to me before tomorrow's class. We have tomorrow's class, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, we have tomorrow's class. So let them submit them to you because I want to say something. I want us to move on. So please submit your topics, but don't submit now. Let me finish what I want to cover. Then you will submit because there's something I want you also to show us, to tell us as you submit those topics. And I'm very thankful for the people who have the courage to start submitting topics, even when they're still in the formative stages. Because then it is this that will help me refine your chapter. Don't worry how ugly it looks. I've seen like Boaz on Teacher Service Commission. It will need some what do I want? Some synthesis to make it what we want it to be, but it's an area that is researchable. So I'm going to make those comments before the next class, because now we're getting into practicals. Now, I want you to note the following. Just a minute. Who was that? Was that Cindy? I can't remember the name, but she drew my attention. And I want you to look at this, what I'm sharing with you. And this is an article that has just been published by University of Oxford. And we were in a consortium of Pennsylvania, Penn State University, Oxford, and Daystar. And we managed to get a small grant to do this study. And the article has just been published as a consortium. Go and check this. This is one of the highly rated platforms on research in education, RISE. I want you to go to this, some of you, and go and look at the kind of articles that have come through. Look at this topic. Ambitions racing ahead of capabilities. the politics of a competency-based curriculum in Kenya. First of all, note how many words that topic is. And you can see the text explores the RISE program's research efforts in several countries, focusing on Kenya's education system and the challenges it faces. It discusses the transition from the 844 system to a competency-based curriculum and highlights issues such as teacher training, resource shortages, and disparities between private and public schools. The text also mentions the broader goals of the education reforms in Kenya. Note this, and note this seriously, if there's such a word. If you're going to talk about the competency-based curriculum in Kenya, you can pick variables such as teacher training, capacity, we can call it anything we want, resource shortages, that is infrastructure, instructional materials, and you can talk about the difficulties in policy implementation. You can talk about parental engagement, involvement. But you know, you can also have a study that just talks about these disparities between public and private schools. Do you know, I can have a topic, the politics of a competency-based curriculum in Kenya, dash or full column or semicolon, disparities between private and public schools. I am trying to stir up some thinking in your mind. What I've had you give, what I've had you giving Dr. Mwaka is very generic. It's very generic. Othello, I don't know what I mean by that, but I hear very generic it's like when I go to church and somebody starts with blessed assurance, Jesus is mine. It's very generic. So we are now in the business of constructing chapter 1. And the first thing is the topic. I have given you the criteria, the indicators that will help you sharpen your topic. But I'm asking you, particularly those of you who want to go on up to PhD and so on, to open up your minds and ask yourself, what is it that I want to study? And how do I want to do it? So this, by the way, this article was posted just the other day, and I already see it as about 72 citations. So you can imagine in 4-5 months, in 2 years. So there are many interesting things. You see, you can even pick a topic, the transition from 844 to a competency-based curriculum, pause, challenges, pause, impediments, pause, policy struggles. yeah, you can have all those come through. So you have to start opening up your mind. Now, let me show you, let me stop sharing this for a minute. We can come back to it if you want, but let me stop sharing. Let me show you something else I wanted to, I don't know where it has gone, but I want you to note this. Research problem. Just give me a minute. I'm coming back because we really need to open up your minds. Please bear with me just a minute. I'm looking for some material that has what I want. And keep sending your topics to the directorate. Because it is very important that we are not just throwing topics without internalizing where we are going. From what I'm hearing, what you're submitting, we need to clean them up. And I'm looking for some material. I should. My computer is really crowded, but I'll get them. And let me see. It's not in downloads. I'll have to look for it. It is so important what I wanted to discuss, and I wanted to project it. I can discuss it without projecting, but you won't get the benefits. I should clean up my computer. There's too much stuff everywhere. But yeah, I think all right, I found it finally. And what I want you to do is this. I want you, I hope you can see, this is what I was looking for. Sorry, it tells you the lecturer was not very well prepared. But after you've gotten your topic, you have picked some background information, you are trying to do your problem statement, you will then try and write the purpose statement, and just know that the purpose statement is defined as a declarative statement that defines the goal and objective of the study. So the purpose statement is a type of go-between for the problem statement and the research statement with research questions. And purpose statements must be stated objectively, and we are going to break it down to give us the objectives of the study. So I would like to emphasize that as you submit your work of the topic, can you give us the purpose statement? And I wanted to show you an example. Look at this. Everybody, give me your attention here. That's why I was desperate to get this material. Look at this. Osanya, you have a question? Or your hand is up?
Yes, Prof.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
I'm still just thinking the issue of CBC on a systematic review and meta-analysis. Can something be done?
That can be done.
So how just to go about it is the challenge.
Yeah, so you submit that.
Oh, thank you.
Submit that just the way you have said it. Then we will pick it up.
Thank you.
Now look here, everybody. I want you to look at this. And so thanks for your patience. This is an example I was just thinking through of a purpose statement. The purpose of this study is to investigate the issues affecting job satisfaction by nursing faculty members in Kisumu Metropolitan. Remember, Kisumu has very many training colleges offering nursing that overflow to Kakamega, Busia, those areas, and Kericho. Interviewing and questioning nursing faculty living in Kisumu Metropolitan, I'm stretching it to Busia, Kakamega, and the rest, provides insight into their personal experiences of job satisfaction while working in the nurse educator role. I'm talking of the lecturers, the nursing. Like at Daystar, it is a nightmare. I've interviewed, my success rate is just about 50%. You interview, they don't come. The researcher has identified 3 objectives as a basis of the study. First, the objective of this study is to examine the issue of job satisfaction among nursing faculty. Second, the objective of this study is to investigate the impact of low wages on the nursing faculty. And lastly, the objective of this study is to examine the complexities of the nursing faculty role. These citations are just for purposes of teaching. This is not from Cook. Now, that is one area. So as you give me the topic, can you be courageous enough to give me the purpose statement? And put down some objectives. Put down some objectives. And these are notes I was just scribbling. I'm going to send them to you as your support notes. So you see, you can do a study on this one. Some bright student in this class has already said, but I can also do this, just substitute nurses for teachers. Or substitute this for policemen. Issues affecting job satisfaction. It's not just nurses. That's what I'm saying. Now look here. If you come here, let me give you this one. Yes, Wakesa.
Prof, does job satisfaction only relate to HR or it is a leadership issue?
It is a leadership issue. It can be an HR issue. It can be the policies. Doctors are going on strike. The remuneration policies. So that's how you're becoming a researcher. That's how you're sharpening your mind. Now look at this one. The purpose of this study, I'm just giving examples, and they're not even thought through yet. The purpose of this study is to investigate the lived experiences of parental involvement and how it contributes to the lives of their deaf children in their classroom and education in wherever area. The purpose statement must give me the population and it must give me the location. I must see it. Is this in Migori? Is this in Thika? Is this in Kenya? Is this in Africa? Remember, I'm not giving a lecture. I'm just strengthening your thinking for us to do a chapter 1. Now, to take a maskio, because the train is just slowly leaving Kisumu railway station. So this is a qualitative research study using a descriptive approach that would utilize structured interviews with open-ended questions to investigate the lived experiences of participants on parental involvement in the lives of their deaf students. Somebody will ask, but is this in leadership? Of course it is. Is this in policy studies? It is. The sample is derived from a population of parents of deaf children studying in special schools that offer education programs in Thika, Kiambu. Just an example. The study employs a sample size of 25 parents who are committed or involved with the education activities of their deaf children. The participants share their lived experiences through interviews that will focus on questions centered specifically on the 6 categories outlined by Monica and Weston. This is a tool. This is a tool. I haven't given the citation, but I need to cite it. It is here, 1989. Thus, the purpose of the study is to illustrate how the lived experiences of parental involvement contribute to the academic achievement of deaf children in schools in Thika, Kiambu. As a basis of this study, the researchers identified 2 primary objectives of the study. The first objective is to examine the parents' lived experiences with deaf children in classrooms. Based on this objective, the research seeks to know how the parents' experiences influence the academic performance of their deaf children. Moreover, the objective is derived from categories of the Epstein parental involvement model. So this is the model, the theory, whereby various involvement approaches are proposed and proven to influence the academic achievement of deaf children. Last, the second objective is to investigate the experiences of parental involvement and its importance for the development of the deaf child. The development of deaf children is determined by parental care and overall parental involvement in every other aspect of the child's life. And the objective seeks to know how using the six categories of the Western parental involvement model impacts on the overall development of deaf children. And I've said in-text citations included for illustrative purposes only. So I will not want you to do for me the research questions that we shall do next time. But I want you to give me the purpose and the objectives of your study. You can't pluck this from the air. So please, whichever area you have chosen, can you pick 1 or 2 articles and read them thoroughly? And be courageous to give me the purpose and the objectives of the study. I also want you to have done, for me, the background to the problem and given me the problem statement. We are now constructing our chapter 1. That is what I wanted to cover for today. But I'm inviting concerns, questions, worries. Chris Wekesa, your hand is still up.
I think I didn't lower it, Prof. But then, just for clarification, we are doing it. Just for clarification.
Yeah.
What we are to present is the background, the purpose and objectives.
You are giving me a topic, you are giving me the background to the problem, you are giving me a raw problem statement, you are giving me the purpose and objectives, full stop.
Thank you.
Gaki.
Okay, thank you, Prof. I understand that we're sending the topics to Dr. Ayiro, but if I may, considering that someone also had mentioned the same, almost a similar scope to what I am thinking of doing, just that mine will have a slight difference. My topic is on exploring inclusive teaching practices. Mainly, over the times that I have taught, the most focus is given to children with special needs and not with the learning disability. Learning disabilities to do with dyslexia and all that. You see, those ones are within the class setup. There's no learning support mechanisms for those particular students. So year in, year out, they are normally the bottom students.
Yeah.
And you can actually tell that this is not a physical or, like autism, it's not on the extreme end. So the child is okay generally, but now there is other aspects that need to be looked at and how do we support such students. Yes,
Yeah, don't worry about things looking too close to call. That is for us and the supervisors. And in any case, if I supervise you, I can give you a different orientation after I've given you the articles I want you to read.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Remember, I'm using the problem-based approach. So I want to see you struggle through this and then now come in. Obadiah.
Yes, Prof. I was just reflecting on what you have gone through about the purpose and objectives. Now, my question is like I'm asking myself, how many objectives should a decent research contain?
I don't want to give you a piece of cloth, but never try it with me. Never go beyond 4. Never. And in fact, the fourth one is we are providing solutions to the problem. So
Okay.
4 maximum. Yeah.
Okay, and on that basis, this is kind of personal. I'm thinking that apart from the research that you're doing, I would like to engage in meta-analysis. I don't know if one of these weekend you'd be a bit free.
Okay.
But
just drop me an email.
Yes.
A personal email on my. Please don't use the university email. It's too crowded. I get out. Just use my private email, ayirolaban@gmail.com, and let me know what you would like done. It will be interesting. It will be very interesting. Yeah. Good. Sam Nyabera.
I'm just curious about the use of language in the document that you are sharing, and I'm wondering whether this is how I should write my purpose statement, or the language you have used here is because you are the lecturer explaining to your students how a purpose statement should be stated.
Should come, yeah. So it is not for you to tell me. You are not teaching me research methods, so you will tell me the purpose of your study.
Okay.
And very precise. But you see, like what I've just shown here. Here is almost generic. I would like to see that in all purpose statements, not I can see the population is nursing faculty. So that's the population of the study. I can see the location, Kisumu Metropolitan. Yes. And I can see the motive of the study. The motive of the study are issues affecting job satisfaction. Somebody else could talk about.
Prof, please look at the last sentence in the paragraph that you have highlighted. It's
Yes.
reading, the researcher has identified 3 primary objectives as a basis for this study.
Yeah.
Could I, as a researcher, be the one writing such a statement?
No, I mean, you would say the objectives of the study are.
Okay, I get. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, sawa. Kuna maswali, but just notice I have closed teaching research methods. I'm now helping you to craft your chapter 1. So I'll not be doing much teaching. I'll be doing what I'm doing. Like when I finish purpose statement, we'll go to the research questions and hypothesis. Then after that, I'll go to assumptions of the study and limitations and delimitations. And then we'll go to operational definitions. I mean, significance operational definitions like that. So that's how we'll be doing it. And those of you who are sensing where we are going, make sure you're not left behind. You're working with us. When we finish that, we are going to literature review. And I'm going to teach you the standard format of how I expect a literature review chapter to be packaged. Yeah. And then after that, I'll go to the standard format for chapter 3, research methodology. And as we go, you must now begin to wrestle with the topic. This is problem-based learning. So you are not just walking. This is not a theory. You are now carrying your practical, your actual topic, and you are asking the directorate to give you somebody to guide you, and you are farming up your topics as we move along. Because we are very specific. 18 months, you must graduate. Cindy, Emma.
Thank you, Dr. Prof. You've partly answered my question through your Nyambere's question, because mine was revolving around the use of language in research. Now that I am the researcher, my major concern was now the last statement actually that Nyambere addressed, the research about the researcher. And I was wondering, when you're writing this now that I'm the researcher, am I supposed to use active voice or I'm supposed to use passive? Or I use passive voice where I'm quoting someone else's.
Where you're quoting someone else. You are tempting me to do what I didn't want to do, but now that I'm seeing it coming, I didn't want to go through the process of preparing, planning, performing, presenting, engaging in writing. But I'll make it a point. You are always using the first person, huh?
Yes. So I'm allowed to use I because I'm the one doing the research, right? The personal pronoun I.
Yeah, but I know that in our graduate book, which you are going to get a copy, we are very nervous to allow you to use the first person, because personally, I don't think you're an authority yet. So I don't want to hear things like, I developed the survey question. We interviewed each participant in the morning. We conducted an independent t-test to determine whether there is a statistically significant difference in job satisfaction between full-time and part-time lecturers at Daystar University. Let me craft something for the next class, huh? So that we are all on the same page. All right?
Yes, Prof.
Yes. Any other comments? Unajua saa hizi sasa hatuandiki notes pamoja. Hakuna slides professor anatuma. PowerPoints hakuna. Sasa it's now your acumen that will push you. Like the people who I'm very excited. The people who have thrown topics at us. But I'm saying, can you dress up those topics? Valisha nguo. So that they come up to the purpose and objectives. Then we will correct them. And since it's just 1 or 2 pages, we'll try to scan back. Yeah, if I get them on time. Okay. Obadiah and Chris.
Prof, last question. Yes, Prof. Last question before we break. As we draft these topics, Prof, are we allowed maybe to come up with 2, 3, 4 topics so that we send them, then you can scan them among the 4, 3?
Yeah. Yeah.
We are just advised to do 1.
No. Yeah. But if you give me 3 topics, you have to give me 3 backgrounds, 3 problem
Yes, that
statements.
means I have to give you 3 purpose statements, 3 objectives of each topic.
Yeah. So, Dr. Mwaka, please just roughly divide these students among the faculty. I know we are getting some adjunct faculty from other universities, but internally get some faculties to start working. Because I'm hoping that by end of next week, we should be farming up the chapter 1.
Yeah. Yes, Prof. I think once they have sent their topics and we are able to, their backgrounds, we're able to see where each of them, we can cohort them into those kind of groups so that when we're located at faculty, then we have them in those areas. So I think once you receive, we can do this.
Okay, thank you very much, class. Please, my internet is very unstable, but just make sure you are not being left behind. And if you have any worries, you have the director, the coordinator of the program. You have Martin Munyao. You have your other 3 lecturers, Kegode and Susan and Sitati. I am there. Just, bring your problems to the cross so that we can look at them. Yeah, but this is how we are going to do it. And then after this chapter 1, we will now ask submissions of chapter 1s. We mark them, and the best and the ones that are not up to the standard will be presented to the class as teaching tools. Then we'll finish chapter 1. Then we go to chapter 2, literature review, then chapter 3. And when the semester ends, you'll blame yourself if you don't have your proposal ready for defense. But keep reading your theory. Keep reading the theories of research, because now they're going to come up over and over again. So there being no other business, it is my pleasure to declare today's class ended. And goodbye.
Right. I think, Prof, it will only be prudent to have 3 or 4 comments from the students regarding their experience in learning research, and maybe 1 PhD students, and then you can close the class. I don't know if that's something you would like.
Okay, if there are any comments, I welcome them.
So,
yeah.
Yeah.
We still have 3 minutes, so yeah, okay.
Yeah, those global from Kuwait, Evans or Nyabera or one of that, and then we can have probably back here in Kenya. I think it would be nice to hear Florence Macho and one of the PhD students in class, and maybe the faculty would like to comment. Evans, all the way from Kuwait.
I'm not sure whether Evans is there, but I could make a quick comment.
Okay, Nyabera, go ahead.
There is
where are you now?
I'm in Central Asia in a country called Uzbekistan.
Oh,
Uzbekistan.
Oh, Uzbekistan. Okay, okay.
Yeah. Uzbekistan is a former member of the USSR.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah. So my request was there is this document you use to explain to us these various elements of research. I've been wondering whether you posted that in the e-learning platform, or how can I access that document? Because I believe I need to have it like sorry to use this analogy, like the Bible, so that even as I do my work, I can keep going back to it and looking at it.
Okay.
If you can kindly share, we will appreciate. Thank you very much.
Okay.
And Dr. Caro, everything is going well. We are getting it. I mean, we are moving closer to slaying this dragon that is research.
Okay. Thank you very much, Nyabera. Thank you. Is that my
Computers of learning research?
Caro, is it?
Yeah, Prof. Okay, Nyabera, I've had that. We will check out. But also, you could have just also mentioned any experience you've had in learning research from last semester to this semester. Then Florence Macho, and then one of the PhD candidates and any faculty on the online platform now. Macho, go ahead.
Thank you, Dr. Ayiro. I've had a very, let me use the word exciting experience. It's almost like learning on the job, and there is no better way to learn than that way, because then it's very difficult for you to forget. Most of us, when we joined the class, we had done research, or so we thought, in other universities. But the way this has been taught has really, I feel like I've assimilated what needs to be done, but also enjoying the class. It's not a chore. It is actually like I'm looking forward to going out to do the research. I'm asking myself hard questions. I am trying to trade in areas where people have not tried. And I'm reminded of Prof's dancing. Prof, your statement is dancing on the what? On the periphery. So I don't want to be that one. Let me get into the mix of things. And the beautiful thing is that we have lecturers that are available, including Prof, to guide us. So we are not afraid. Usually you're afraid when you're not sure what you're doing. But I'm happy to bring out my topic. I'm happy for it to be torn apart and build up again so that I do a proper research that can be funded. I want to be funded.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you so
very
much.
Good, very good. I'm very encouraged that it has made a difference and people feel they have learned something. At least they have, if nothing, they are more courageous to talk about research. And that will really help. We'll see it in the kind of proposals that come through. We'll see it in the defenses. And we'll see it as you accelerate towards your PhD after this program. Yeah, good. All right, Caro, are we through?
Yeah, and finally, probably we can have Francis or Chami.
Thank you, Dr. Mine has been a very good learning experience. When we started, I never knew we would get this far. But right now, it's very clear in terms of how we can do research, how we can approach it. And it's even more gratifying that we have support available to guide us through and lead us through as we start doing our research topics and as we get into the deep of it. So mine is to appreciate the team led by Professor Ayiro and Dr. Mwaka. You've been very supportive. We've learned a lot, and we continue to learn through you, and we seek to become better leaders as we go along. Thank you.
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. All the best as you, please give this your best. Get 1 or 2 articles, let them anchor your thinking. Go back to your notes and let me get something coming through. It doesn't have, even if we say it doesn't have to come in tomorrow, it is okay. We can give the other lecturer tomorrow and say, can we have the lecturers Monday or Tuesday to give this a good, a thorough attempt by everybody here. So good night and God bless you.
Thank you so much, Prof. Good night, and everybody. Good night.
Thank you.
Better you can end the meeting.
Good night.
God bless. Good night, and thank you for this.
Better you can end.
Okay, Miss, I will do that.